Okay. Hi.
Hello.
I'm Bethany, and this is Disability Talk, where we offer little delicious nibbles of disability content so that you, wonderful, fabulous people, do not have to ask people like us awkward questions. So, we welcome today a wonderful disability justice mad scholar, just all around femme fabulous woman, Shayda. And I said it right. I am,
Did.
yes. Welcome to the space.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Before we get to the 3 questions, I'd love for us to both just say our pronouns and then describe our backgrounds. If you don't mind, just audio describe yourself and your space.
My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am sitting wearing a black tank top. That would be exciting. I'm wearing a black tank top. I have tree branch tattoos on my arm. I have short black hair, and I'm wearing these like dangly hoop earrings with stones hanging in the center. And behind me, on one side, are frames on a wall with pictures. And behind me further is a desk with laptop screens.
It looks like a very nice office space.
Thank you. It's become cozier.
Yeah, it looked very clean. I saw your office in Crypt Futures, which at Crypt Futures on Instagram, and I was excited by the plants that I saw. So in my background, I have 2 shelves. On the top, I have a sign that says, "A riot is the language of the unheard," with an amethyst stone by it. And then beneath that, I have an avocado, which is the lightest green thing that I could put up there and not a plant to weigh the shelf down. Didn't want it to fall. And in the background, I have several necklaces hanging and a condom bag because sexual health is one of my passions. I am a white femme with shoulder length brown hair, red lips just about always, and right now I'm wearing a Sex Pistols dress. So thank you for the access. I think it's really important. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, and I'm she, hers. She, her, hers. So let's get started with the first question just about your passion. How does your passion for all the fun things that you do relate to disability justice? And when I say passion, we're thinking not just your work, which congratulations on your new gig if you'd like to share that, but like tell me about disability justice for you.
So, okay, first of all, these are all really yummy questions. So I'm grateful for these questions. So disability justice has become my praxis and way of like living and moving through the world, and it enters into my work, the work I do, but also the fun stuff I do. So I teach, and my new gig, I'm now even though I've been there adjuncting for like 5 years, I'm an assistant professor in a department of ethnic and women's studies at Cal.
Contracts are good. Contracts are good.
Contracts are really good. So disability justice is in my classroom. And I guess I'll start there because I was thinking about it and I was like, well, you know, the university is a really oppressive institution a lot of the time to disabled and mad folks and chronically ill folks. And even though we have like a disability resource center, and even though we have like workshops on universal design and all of that is really wonderful and necessary, ableism and saneism still happen in the classroom all the time. And so I'm really trying to work to reimagine the classroom space as a place where access intimacy can enter. Because right now, like I have phenomenal access intimacy in my friend groups and in my chosen family groups. I'm trying to imagine what that would look like in the classroom. What would it look like to have sustainability and collective access in the classroom and to move slow together? and like have extended deadlines. Like, what would all of that look like? So it's basically the things I wish I had access to as a student brought into the class space.
Absolutely. And I really am excited about you utilizing the idea of access intimacy. And I'm wondering if you might want to just talk about it with regard to the classroom space, because um,
Mm.
intimacy kind of, even though it's a Mia Mingus phrase and we love her, how can you not love her? Wonderful disability justice, transformative justice leader. The idea is really coming together to create access, but there is that intimacy that seems to go beyond what a classroom would entail. So how does that work for you? Just a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think it starts first because I'm in a department where we are, and I'm teaching in disciplines where we're invited to talk about our bodies and our experiences. So, okay, like, of course, we're going to read theory and we're going to learn about people like Foucault, and that's awesome. But we're going to like access the theory by talking about our body, minds, and our experiences and the experiences like of our communities. So I feel like because we start there in a very embodied place, it
Yeah,
opens space for us to be um, intimate in ways where we are sharing parts of ourselves in an academic space that maybe we were never allowed to before.
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's kind of like how I think maybe a door opens to it. And then I start my classes by telling my students that they're being taught by a disabled, queer, mad femme. And then, yeah, and I will share my access needs with them on the first day and just like the range of things I might need from them. So, like, um, we were talking about our animals before we pressed record and our little babies. And my dog Baldwin will come with me often to campus if my anxiety or depression is high. Some days if I have brain fog, I ask like for just patience and I'm going to be talking slower or needing more breaks. And so if I'm noticing that if I start there and I ask them to email me access needs or just to constantly like just share them and let them know that if it changes like throughout the duration of 16 weeks, it's allowed to, um, people start asking for things that they need.
That sounds so beautiful. And I really love that you're modeling how to do it, because we don't know how to do it. And there's so much silence and shame around it. So, and particularly when we move into graduate spaces, it's like all of a sudden our bodies don't exist and the constraints of time don't exist. And we're just little robots who can just work on no sleep. So I think this is really exciting, and it connects to our second question of what kind of joy and pleasure do you get out of connecting with disability community? I've been really into the Crip Camp virtual experience and thinking about how much pleasure is just woven into our movement, and how sad mainstream culture is to think that disability, like Blackness, is just about pain and suffering and just consuming those images. And of course, I'm not saying those histories are the same at all.
No,
Um, just really this negative perspective where we don't have space to live. So I'm just curious what it feels like for you connecting with our beautiful multiple families of the disability worlds.
oh, I love how you phrase that, or multiple families.
Thank you.
Uh, um, it feels like this very glittery, radiant place where you are politically and personally empowered because you are recognized.
Mm.
Like you are recognized for all the nuances and intersectional parts of yourself.
Mm.
Um, and that recognition doesn't come with shaming. And I'm really glad like we're talking about shaming in this framework. But yeah, it feels like a very rooted sometimes messy, always exciting place.
I like it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's glittery. Tell me
Yeah.
more. I'm a
I
fan
don't
of
know.
glitter.
Do like hand.
It feels, I like it. I think there's something really shiny about the differences of our bodies. And I don't like the euphemism differently abled because it
I don't.
depoliticizes disability, but I do think that our differences are what make us delicious. You know, it's like we're different kinds of puzzle pieces that fit together and don't fit together. And there's beauty in that too. And figuring out, like with access intimacy, my mind as a sexologist immediately goes into places of actual sexual activities and thinking about how do these different kinds of bodies that you're not ever supposed to think of as sexual or beautiful, desirable, how do they actually fit and bring pleasure and how. And when I think about it too, it's like I learned from disability community like new ways to experience pleasure that are welcoming to like the PTSD that I've experienced and like really comfortable. So I'm just curious if these things come up for you with like skill sharing or any of these things with your cryptid.
Oh, yeah. I will say the first time I really incorporated slowness and body mind awareness into conversations and experiences of sex, everything radically changed for me. Um,
Sounds exciting.
it is, yeah. And so, one of the things that I've been gifted from my like crip family is this idea of permission and slowness. And I think like for a lot of people, slowness has a super negative connotation. But for me, it's creating possibilities to say, and this is my therapist's language, this is not my language, but she just like, talks to me on Friday. But she's like, yeah, you're saying no to things and you're holding space and making space for saying yes to things. So like my friends like reaching out to me and saying like, hey, I really want to meet, but I'm feeling really exhausted and drained from my day. And it's like this, the spoonie magic, right?
Sure.
And yeah, and it's okay to say no to things and to really honor your body mind and where you are and how you're feeling.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest gifts. Like, oh, hey, you can rest. Have you taken a nap today?
Yeah. Wow. Yes, I follow Nat Ministry, and I really had no idea how much I need to be more intentional about rest.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I have a
that's
little.
important.
So like to the side, I have a little writing altar and I have a picture of Trisha Hersey from Nap Ministry here on my altar just to like remind me like slow down.
Mhm. I may
Remember.
I may have to uh, take that idea in homage and not appropriation to make a writing altar because I'm doing everything I can. The next plant I have is going to be named something related to writing to keep me writing. Um, but our last question I want to ask you, and this is really your work. So you write about crypt futures. You talk about this. This is your jam. And it is the pandemic question. This is the reason why I'm even doing these interview shorts. I want to know because so many of my comrades are stuck at home and too many people are just feeling like this is over and we're thinking that we're never going to leave our houses again. And some of my friends are struggling with seeing the future. And for me right now, the future is looking at the fire that's right in front of me, and that's what I need to do. But I want to hear from other people that are fabulous like myself, or even a little more sparkly like you. What do you want in your disability justice future? What do you imagine? Where do we need to go?
So I have to say my answer is definitely informed by there's this course correction series that was put out. Oh my gosh, what was their name? Perhaps I know the second half of the title is course corrections, and perhaps I can like email you the link.
Okay.
You have it. Movement generations.
Yes. I just
Okay.
watched that talk. Right.
Oh, that's right. You told me about it. We both showed up.
Yeah.
how my brain's working lately.
Hey,
Yes.
pandemic brain fog plus chronic illness plus all the other things, plus you just got a big gig. There's a lot going on, and you have madam to tend to. I
Yeah.
mean, come
Yes.
on.
Here. Okay, thank you. So yes, it was this phenomenal webinar of what it would be like in 2050. And so my answer to your question is very much informed from that place that like, okay, I'm imagining what it would look like and the steps that we need to take to keep moving toward a decolonial, crypt queered future that's like femme-centric and loving, and going back to like your first question of disability justice, that's like really moving us toward collective liberation. But like, what would be the tangible steps to get there?
Mm,
So it made me feel very hopeful. Like it did something to like the anxiety and the
I agree.
frustration of like trying to work at home but trying to like be in contact with my students but at home. So I'm imagining a place where collective framings of like transformative justice, disability justice, all these justice movements are like working together, and they've created some kind of space for us to really thrive in, not just live and not just survive, but a space for us to thrive in.
I like it. And and how do you think that we're going to use what we've been learning in the pandemic, like well,
Mm-hmm.
what they called the revolution of 2020, where the people reclaimed the land, and that was, it was so beautiful. I even got my wife to listen to it, and she often will make fun of my magic and woo woo things. And I need to be made fun of, so it's fine. But she really was into it. So, yeah, I'm just curious. Like, I mean, do we see Zoom in our future? Are there other things that we're comfortable? Do you see this? Because I'm right now, one of the things that I want to see coming from this series potentially is continuing this conversation with other folks in a web-based space, or having a Zoom space where we could come together like a liberation school like the Black Panthers had. Because honestly, you had your diagnosis at 19, and I was born with my disability, and I would have loved like medical diagnosis with disability studies, disability justice, ableism, political information, so that I didn't have to think, hey, this is my problem. So yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that some of these things may be built into it while we're, yeah, I don't know. So
I think that would be amazing. Yeah, because I did not move through my internalized ableism, sanism until grad school. Like that's way too late. But I think one of the things that I kept hearing people say, and this is not anybody in like in my community spaces, but like media pundits, like we're gonna get back to normal, and this is like a bump in the road or whatever euphemism they're using that's silly. But I really hope that this push for asking people about their access needs, like this is the first time we're running programs in a summer where people are like reaching out and saying, do you have access to technology? Do you need a hotspot? Like access is being expanded, which I love.
they're actually thinking about other people that may not have the internet and have to go to libraries, which are closed down now. That's very exciting that we're actually thinking about the holistic needs of
Yeah.
people.
So that I don't want that to stop. I don't want this like yeah, and I don't want to go back to a place where, and this is all like knowledge and magic from rest ministry, but like, or nap ministry, but I don't want to go back to a place where our productivity is based on this capitalist mandate that like if we produce, we're good people and we're productive people. Because there's so many other forms of contribution that are happening now. So I don't, that's what my crip future also is. Like, I don't want to go backward. I want to keep taking the skills and the, the things that are coming out of this pandemic space forward. Like, I don't want to leave them behind when things shift and we're able to do things that we perhaps aren't able to do now.
Yeah. I really like your call to attention for slowness. I think that that really disrupts the push of capitalism and the white supremacy that drives that garbage. So, I mean, it is a form of resistance, just like not ministry tells us to rest, but it's also a form of resistance to slow down. And I think slowing down to learn and slowing down to enjoy pleasure, all of these things are really important. And now we have time in the pandemic to try to do some of it. So I appreciate your time. And hey, if you would like to tell us where we can find you, that would be lovely. And then also, if you want to plug your work or your store that you share with your spouse or anything that you would like,
Sure.
love to hear how we can reach you.
Sure. So y'all can find me on Instagram. I've been trying to stay on top of it, but I've kind of taken a break. But it's just my first and last name, Shayda Kafai. I can also share my email.
Okay.
skaf as in Frank, AI at cpp.edu. So
Okay.
I can send that to you and share that with you, but that's the quickest way to get a hold of me. My wife and I have a store that we started 2 years ago called Femme Crafts. And so I
Adorable.
share the link. Thank you. Yeah, that's been my like self-care medicine to like draw and create things for the community. But yeah, things are going well. I have 2 baby book projects.
Oh, two.
Yeah, one with a colleague and a friend, Melanie Jones, who's finishing her PhD at UCLA, and it's a Mad Scholars anthology. And so,
How awesome. I'm
yeah,
excited.
yeah,
I,
we're super
I
excited.
just came out as mad, so it's new to me, even though I'm pretty sure I've been mad all, and I just didn't realize it. So it's a
Yeah,
new thing that was actually really scary for me to do. I've been nude on the internet, and that's art, and it's fine, and it never scared me. But coming out as mad, it was a whole new thing. It's a whole new system to navigate. It's a whole new world, and it's been really nice because embracing the brilliance of madness is kind of, I like that part because I've suppressed it and just denied it.
and
So
same is such a different system altogether. But as like a part of the Mad community, we welcome you. It's good to have you.
and what's your other baby? What's your other book project?
My other book project is a book, and this has been like just crib time writing this thing about Sins Invalid, the
Oh,
performance project in
dope.
the Bay Area. Yeah,
We need that. Do you want to tell people what Sins Invalid is just before we head out?
sure. Sins Invalid is this phenomenal performance project that brings art making, education, and disability politics, disability justice politics together. And their languages, they incubate performance space for disabled, queer, gender nonconforming, trans people of color.
I love it. When I just want to share, and we can close out, but I was in San Francisco getting my master's degree in 2006, 2007, so and 8. And so I got to see their first performance, and it just, I sobbed. I've never, I mean, to see queer, trans, people of color centered talking about sex, just disabled people talking about sex is like, whoa, blow my hair back. But then you add that other element, and there's nudity, and it's actually artful and seductive and hot. And
Yep.
then Patty Byrne also just has the most beautiful voice that resonates. So I'm excited for that project. I
Thank
didn't
you.
know.
Me too. And if people are looking for like amazing, something amazing to watch during their pandemic quarantine, Crip Bits is really great. It's on Sins and Valid's Facebook site. I think it's also
Okay.
parts are on their YouTube page, and they're just these small Crip bits of magic that people can watch.
Are those the interviews that I like, the Patty Byrne, Stacey Melbourne interview? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
series.
Another, I like it. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciated your time today, and I look forward to us cultivating our future together.
Thank you for opening this space. It was really great to chat.
Yeah, it was really great. You take care. Have a good Sunday.
You too. Bye.
Bye.